Hi guys and girls, I am super psyched to announce my first ever YouTube video. Yeah, I just did some Kundalini punches to get in a sort of flow state because I was taking a few videos now and I fucked them all up at some point. I just stopped talking. Yeah, so this video is gonna be very messy. I have no idea what I'm doing. Not no idea what I'm doing, but like in sort of in terms of like how to structure a video and stuff. Whew. Yeah, I just have like a few notes here. I have no mic, I have no camera, I just have my old Samsung S9 because I gave up buying expensive phones because I always lose them like after 2 or 3 months. So yeah, why am I doing this video even? I am in a workshop right now. I'm attending a workshop and I found that workshop absolutely transformational, life transformational and incredible and awesome, and yeah, I love it, I love it. And yeah, I'm gonna talk about that workshop in another video because that is not the topic from now, because I would start like at the end, and I want to start at the beginning, obviously. And my an idea in my head is to make this YouTube channel like a journey for young fellas, for young guys that have like difficulties, that are like stuck at where they are, and I want to help with my story, you know, because a year ago I was very stuck too. I am only 21 years old. I know it might seem a little, I don't know, maybe a little cocky or something of me to think that I don't know, somehow have the right to talk about certain stuff, but I really think I do, because I think I understand reality in a certain way. And yeah, I'm just gonna dive into it. And I'm gonna start 1 year ago from now, because I think that's where it all started for me. I went out of school. I finished school last year, and yeah, first time ever that I actually started to become aware of reality, you know. I got out of school. It was like the first time that I'm not in a role, you know, in a role of a student. I was not Leon. My name is Leon, by the way, Leon Rudman. And my friends call me Rudy, and I'm proud of that. Yeah, but now that's not the topic now, sorry. Yeah, I got out of school, and it was like the first time ever where I started to question who I am. And that question actually like called out sort of an anxiety within myself, because I could not answer the question. And I was always like that in my life. I always needed an answer. If I had a question, I needed an answer immediately. I needed an answer that I can understand, and with that I can explain, you know, explain a certain situation, or in that case now reality, you know, or explain my own personality, even though that is very, very difficult. Yeah, so got out of school, got out of that student role, and funny enough, I went on a trip with 3 girls and 1 guy that I barely knew. I knew that one girl from school, that I went to school with her years ago, and I met her, and then we talked about it and stuff. And I think that one girl from there really liked me, and at that time I was like just happy that to get an attention of some girl, you know, because I was, and I would say I am still bad with talking to girls and stuff, but I'm getting better, I'm on my way. And yeah, So got out of school, went on this trip with those unknown people, or people that I barely knew, and I think that was not a coincidence that I chose to do that, because I immediately had a opportunity to form myself in a new way, you know? I went away from I went out of the whole comfort zone that I was in. I was in a comfort zone. I was a student. I was living with my family, with my friends. Most of my friends would go to study immediately, which I think is very stupid. You need that year. You need that break after 13 years of fucking school. You know what I mean? I was not even ready to learn how to surf in those holidays, because I was not ready for a learning process. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I just, I was a student. I just got to school. I just got through school, with no plus points, no minus points, just the grades that I needed. So yeah, I did gymnasium. I had a very good, I was actually at a very good place, but I hated it. I went away. I started to meditate and started to become aware of what reality may be, or I started to question how is everything how's everything working and stuff, and yeah, and then I followed like Andrew Tate for a long time, because I was affected, because I was a young man in my 20s. And yeah, every man in his 20s was like addressed by this guy, and I identified myself with it, even though I shouldn't have, because it somehow destroyed the relationship between me and my mother for a short amount of time. But I'm gonna talk about that in other videos. That's not the topic of today's video. Yeah, so I started to do some jobs on the very lower part of the whole chain, I was like the slave of everything. I was like the guy that needs to lift heavy stuff and so, and yeah, I kept meditating. I started to do guided meditations, because first I was just observing my breath, and I liked it because I found peace somehow. But yeah, I did not know what it is. I did not get the essence of it. I did not know what meditation actually was. And then I found like some guided meditations that really helped me find like inner peace and release stress and release negative energy. And at some point I found out that was later. That was actually after military, because in military for 6 weeks, I dropped out of military because I got injured. I stopped meditating and then I started again. And yeah, I'm gonna talk about that later. Yeah, so yeah, I went to military. Because we don't have to go to military in Switzerland, but I wanted to, because it was like kind of my dream to become a sniper. And that was very hard. You're actually living an action movie, You're getting fucked hard. Like you're awake 18 hours a day. You get to go home on the weekends, and yeah, just getting fucked every day for 18 hours. Sleep for 6 hours. Sometimes maybe don't even sleep at all. But I was happy at that time, and I was very sad that I could not finish it, and that I got injured, and I fell into a very, I would say, I fell into a stupid hole made by myself, because my thoughts were constantly circling around that injury, and because of that injury I would not be able to do certain stuff. I would not be able to play volleyball. I would not be able to play basketball. I would not be able to lift weights, to finally get a body that actually girls desire. That was also a big point of my personality, that a big, I don't know how to call it in English, but it was a big issue. I identified myself with, I'm not good at talking to girls, and that's what made it even worse, you know, when you think about that stuff. Yeah, I was stupid at that time. Yeah, so went to military, dropped out of military, dropped in a hole because of my own thoughts, and then I started to do meditation again. And that's where I got convinced that meditation is going to be a part in my whole life all the time from now on. Yeah, that's what I told myself in April, last April. And yeah, so I started meditating again. I started to get better, like mentally and physically. And now I'm like, it's the first time in my life where I train, where I lift weights for more than a month. I'm lifting weights now for April, May, June, July, August, yeah, September, nearly 6 months, and I'm fucking proud of it, you know. I never thought I could do that before. Yeah, and then I started meditation again. And then I explored Aaron Doughty. And Aaron Doughty would be the man that would transform my life, like, completely. I started to watch his videos. I also started to watch Quasi, because he also made videos about like how reality works on a metaphysical stage. You know what I mean? And it also makes sense because I was very atheistic. I was not believing in a higher power or a God or whatever you want to call it. I was just believing in science. And through meditation and through questioning reality and through like questioning who I am, I started to realize there is more than just science. There's more than we see, that we hear, that we feel. No, actually that's expressed like very wrongly, because I actually started to feel. I stopped being in my head all the time and I started to feel. And then I finally started to recognize that there is actually more. And yeah, then I followed Aaron Doughty on YouTube, and he has like such a authentic and fun and loving way to express himself, to make, you know, to just share his message with the world. And that's what that's what I want to do too, you know. And I followed Aaron Doughty through a lot amount of time, for like a half a year now. And yeah, then I learned about this workshop. I learned about the workshop where they described like fulfilling your purpose. And I didn't even know what it was, you know. I always had difficulties with like explaining things to other people and explaining them for myself. And yeah, I just did it. It was like an inner calling to do it. So I joined the course because it was for free. And that's also like a pattern about myself. I hate to invest in stuff that I'm not sure about. I hate taking risks. And that's actually a thing that holds you back from success. Not taking risk will hold you back from success. Like, that's a risk too, making that video. I have no fucking idea what I'm doing here. I'm actually through my notes and I'm just gonna keep talking. And I'm sure as I will do more videos, I will recognize what I have talked about, what I've not talked about yet, because there is like a million thoughts in my head